Hello, I'm Linda and I'm here with my friend Paul as we do this week's episode of Demystified as we explore home cooking in a modern world.
Changing up the intro again. You
And
threw
it just
me.
completely threw you, didn't it?
It threw you as well.
Well, it did actually.
You didn't know what you were saying.
Because
You forgot that
it's
you had
one
to
of
do
the-
an intro and then you did
it's
the
one
intro.
of those days. I
Yeah.
know, I came in at the end, but that's the way today is really. How are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm very good. Very good.
So usually, just so everyone knows, we sort of sit and have a very brief have you got a topic, sort of situation. And we don't actually discuss it until we actually turn everything on.
I think we've discussed the fact that that's pretty obvious to most people.
Well, just in case it's not. So a lot of this isn't pre-planned.
And it takes as long as it takes to plug in the microphone and find GarageBand.
Yeah,
That's
correct.
how long we talk about it.
Yeah. So, that being said, I did sort of inform you that I had a topic today. It's probably a little bit skew to the things that we might usually talk about, but it's certainly something that I have passion for, number one. Number two, something that I find incredibly insulting and annoying for people that are within my previous industry, and someone that is doing something about it and calling people out.
Oh.
So, cards on the table
controversial.
first up is that we have no contact from the person that I'm going to talk about today. While I think they're doing God's work, that's one thing.
Okay.
I haven't actually spoken to them about it, and I haven't mentioned that we're going to do a podcast or anything about it. So, if there's any disgruntled listeners out there, send your hatred towards us, not the person that I'm going to discuss.
When he says us, he means Paul.
So just so we're clear, I haven't discussed this with anyone.
No, including me.
Okay, so I have a long, sordid history within hospitality up until probably 5 years ago. And to a degree, I still work within the hospitality industry. I worked at restaurants, pubs, bars, done all sorts of different sort of events, private chef, all within what I would say is the hospitality sphere. And within the hospitality sphere in Australia, there are some very influential people that are writers, food reviewers. They write about hospitality as a whole scene, especially in Melbourne and Sydney. We do our version of sort of the Michelin Guide, which is the Good Food Guide, and there are different contributors to that. And there's quite a few journalists that have been around doing this for a long time. And one in particular that particularly the people from Melbourne that may well be listening to this is a guy called John Lethlean. And John Lethlean was for a long time a food writer and still is to this day a food writer. And he now posts quite regularly on Instagram. And he has a section of his Instagram account which is called Couscous for Comment. And what it is he is getting restaurants and wine producers and general hospitality people to forward onto him, or they have sort of cottoned onto this movement to forward onto him, where these restaurants are getting emails and requests from so-called influencers that are saying, hey, we came to your restaurant, or we really like the look of your restaurant, we're going to post on social media, is there any chance we could get a free feed or a dozen bottles of wine or something like that? And John has, what I think, done his best to highlight this scenario that is ongoing, and call these people out. And I fully 100% applaud him for doing so. Now, there's a little bit of anger in some of the communications between a few people, especially once these people are called out. A lot of these TikTok, Instagram and the like accounts seem to disappear very quickly, and the commentary that he gets back from his audience on Instagram, which is generally supportive of what he's doing, is quite extraordinary. Now, the reason that I bring this up is particularly in the last 48 hours, there was some posts that he put up highlighting this exact problem, and it was someone that had commented that they went out to a restaurant and had a bottle of wine. That person then got in touch with the wine producer and basically had said, look, I had your bottle of wine at this restaurant. I put out a promotion to my social media. Basically, because I did that, you should give me 12 bottles of wine.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. And this is an ongoing thing. And I, as I say up front and quite honestly, am in full support of calling these people out, especially given the last 2 years that the hospitality sector in particular has had to face through the global pandemic. Now, while I know a lot of different industries have faced massive problems, hospitality is just another one of them, but it's also because I kind of look at it as my industry that I'm passionate about it. And I think given what restaurants have had to do, restaurants, cafes, bars, pubs, whatever you want to call them, what they've had to do, how they're just now still just surviving to open the doors, and then to get these communications from random total strangers sort of not demanding, but pretty much demanding that they're given free food, free wine, free alcohol, a free night out because they get a mention on social media, to me is just disgraceful. And I think this is where social media as a whole can sometimes both show the worst and the best.
Wow, there are so many things I want to say to that.
Go.
But I'm not sure I should say some of them on air.
No, go.
No, but wow. The whole issue of influencers. Because this is something that you and I talk about within the Cooking with Steam. You know, people sometimes approach us and we're very cautious about who we align ourselves with and what we do.
Well, we don't really align ourselves with anyone. And I actually did think for a moment.
In fact, sometimes I'm not even sure about you and I.
I did think for a moment, I wonder, well, should I contact John Lefling and ask him to be a part of this conversation? But I thought, am I then doing exactly what everyone else is doing? But I'm not trying to get anything out of it for free. Do you know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is I'm interested to know because we know that we have people listening in America, Czech Republic, like there's a lot of places where we're not huge as far as a podcast following, but we have a lot of people that from different parts of the globe that do listen to it. I wonder if this is not just a Australia phenomenon, but if it's a global thing, and if it is there anyone doing anything about it or saying anything about it?
Well, I wonder do you find influencers like that? Are we just too old to even be bothered to look at an influencer and think, oh, this person's recommending this type of product? Because it's not our thing.
No,
but younger people might. I don't know who would actually look at an influencer to say, hey, I'm someone and I do this and I'm telling you about restaurants. Because I don't look at anything to do with it from an influencer on that. I look at the restaurant, I look at the reviews maybe, but I don't look at any of that. And I also know reviews. I have got clients who have had a couple of bad reviews put up about a restaurant and had that restaurant then have cancelled bookings, and those restaurants are now gone because the effort it goes in to actually promoting a new restaurant. This is one in particular was in Glen Waverley. It was a brand new restaurant by a well-known chef and had been around for a very long time.
I know the one you're talking about.
Yes, and he put so much effort into this beautiful restaurant. He got someone who was narky. They, it just said about something else in their life. A bad review goes up, and bookings were cancelled the next day and for the week ahead. It just fell apart. I
had exactly that experience myself, as you would.
Well, that's what I
remember.
I know. I do remember that.
I put my heart and soul into a very small place to make it unique and different and whatever else, and got I wouldn't say a scathing review, but not a great review. And then it turned out, after finally getting in contact with the person that had written said review, that they were pretty much having a pretty shit day and decided to take it out on, what they saw was the experience. That was still, and it was published.
And she's still writing and she's still podcasting. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I know. You've had her squarely in your sights for a long time.
I have.
It's time to move on.
No, I'm waiting.
But you see, here's the thing, right? So
I'm waiting for her to put her money where her mouth is, and open up a restaurant, and then have someone give her a bad review, and then see how long she can cope with it.
But you see, like, so you could look at...
So I'm angry about... Oh, I've got that angry too.
Yeah,
oh,
but
dear.
you could look at journalism as a
do.
sort of influence, right?
Yeah.
In that scenario. So to say we're too old to understand influences, that's not the point. The point that I'm trying to make is that what these people are doing is not sort of reading the room. Read the room. There's been 2 years where people haven't been able to earn money, haven't been able to perform their role that they're passionate about, that they love, their job, look after their staff, their employees, keep them, you know, so you can go out and have a nice meal and have a nice experience. And you turn around almost immediately while the pandemic, yes, is still going on, but it's, for us, to a degree, it's heading towards some form of normalcy. And it was funny, over a period of time, my understanding of it is this sort of communication from influencers trying to get free stuff stopped. But now it's sort of starting to get back to semi-normalcy. It seemed to have risen its ugly head again. And the point being is that just because businesses are open doesn't mean that they can afford it. As you well know, being the accountant genius that you are, you will have suffered 2 years worth of a whole heap of loss of income, loss of money, expenses, paying people, all of that stuff. And yet, because the doors are open, you think you have the gumption to even bother asking it. Like, I find it infuriating, whether you're an influencer or not. I know for a fact that people that do food reviews and journalists and, you know, probably the more stand-up types of people that do get involved with food or restaurants or reviewing from a professional standpoint, they make a point of paying full price for everything that they choose. There's no freebies, there's no this, there's no that. Yeah, well, there may well be other, not even incentives, there may well be other perks to the job where you know, you might get to know a chef and the next time you come in with your wife, you might have, you know, they might throw you a glass of wine, right? But that's knowing a restaurant owner. That's not a perk to getting a good review. So I think what I'm trying to say is influencer or not, it doesn't matter. Read the room and understand that hospitality, and I'm not saying other industries haven't suffered, but hospitality I know has suffered because I know people within the industry and have done, and I've spent 25 years in it myself. I know how tight it is. Even when you are running at full capacity day to day, margins are minor in hospitality, and making money is minor in hospitality. It's very hard to do consistently and make good money and all the rest of it. And to have people turn around and not understand that and not read the room and understand that people can't afford to give stuff away. And so that plate of food has to pay for a wage, it has to pay for the ingredients, it has to pay for the water, it has to pay for the electricity, the dishwasher, the rent, like everything. That single plate of food or those bottles of wine that someone has given care to over the entire journey of the grapevine, where they've watered it, they've cared for the grapes, they've handpicked them, they've crushed them, it's gone through an entire process, and you are totally just dismissing that entire process and saying, no, because I am who I am and because I have X many followers, I should get it free. And it's disgraceful. How's this for a rant today?
I know, and it does pop up a few sort of past sort of angry moments. But with the influencers, do you think...
I think if brands choose to use an influencer, that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, and whether you pay attention to it or not, that's different, right? If brands choose to get Kim Kardashian to wear their bloody jacket, who cares, right? And if they think that works for their brand, then that's great. Does it bother me? No, it doesn't bother me. They've made that choice. What these people are doing isn't that.
Well, I do know from my circles, a lot of businesses are absolutely terrified of the silent sort of anti the negative social media rants that can come at them.
This probably could be put down as one of them.
No, but you can often find the way social media can sometimes work against you in a business, and then you're left trying to say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Yeah. Contact me to, I wish you'd said something at the time, or you really do sound a little bit... You
don't often read good reviews. Reviews aren't there for good.
No, but some of them are vile, and some of them are.
Yeah,
really,
but I mean, that can be said for anything, right? You post
yeah,
a video
but
on
a
YouTube.
lot of businesses are worried about that. So
Yeah.
a lot of businesses would be unable to cope. If someone was an influencer and said, look, I've got, 40,000 people in your area and they all follow me, and if I don't get what I say, what I want, you're going to get a negative review from me or no review.
Yeah, well, so the problem isn't then with the fact that they're posting a review. That's not the issue. The issue is that quite often, and we can attest to this, quite often, the owner of the property or whatever it might be, the restaurant, whatever you decide to review, it could be a lawnmower or a whippersnipper, right? Who cares? Depending on where that review is posted and how many people are potentially influenced by that review, that isn't the issue. The issue is the lack of ability for businesses to be able to respond.
Yes.
That is where the issue is.
You've just articulated it far better than I just could.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Because unless you're able to respond, we've received negative reviews about our book on Amazon where people say it's a recipe book. Well,
there's nothing.
It's a recipe book. Like
it's only got recipes in it. There's no information.
There's no information about anything else,
about steam
and
ovens
it doesn't
and how they
actually.
work.
No, it doesn't.
It's a cookbook. It's a recipe book.
Yeah. So we received a negative review because we're selling something that actually says what it does, which is a recipe book, right?
Yes.
Now, that's fine. People are entitled to their opinion. I'm not dismissing that. But what I am saying is that we have you and me as Cooking with Steam, have no ability to respond to that. So anyone that comes along that listens to our podcast, sees the book, finds the book, whatever, wants to order the book, instantaneously sees that as one review. Now, people can either read the review or they can just read a star rating, which is a whole nother problem, right? Because you might not read the review and you only get an average as far as your star rating. So you might have five star ratings, but if you have 4 2-star ratings, your average drops down and you open the page to Amazon, see that the book's only got 2.5 stars. The likelihood, you're not reading those reviews, the likelihood of you then ordering the book is less. So that person or those people are damaging the business because of sometimes invalid reasons to not like the product or whatever it might be. But the bigger problem is that because it's not a instantaneously open up of all reviews. If you click on open reviews, it should open them all, number one. And number two, every business, rightly or wrongly, and how the business manages this is another issue, but every business should be able to respond on their own behalf. But we're getting away from the
sometimes
original
say
point.
Thank you. When we've had good reviews,
exactly.
to say thank you. I hope you enjoy it.
Which is why we encourage people to contact us directly, right?
Yeah.
So we're always sending, if you want to send us an email about this, info@cookingwithsteam. Go ahead, post it online, and I don't care. But the point being is that from a business perspective, we need to be able to have a response. But back to the original thing is when businesses are getting these messages and emails and, Instagram messages from influencers, they have no forum. So this man, John Lethlean, has decided to put this out in the open, and people don't like it, and it's ugly and it's messy, and I applaud him for doing it because people shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Yes, but across the internet, people shouldn't be allowed to troll. People shouldn't be allowed to do a lot
people
of
shouldn't
things.
be allowed to do a lot of things. And
do you
we're
think
talking.
People understand where John is coming from? Do you think he has?
I think he's protecting the industry
exposure as well.
I don't know. I think he is protecting an industry which he knows and loves, and has been writing about for as long as I've been cooking.
Well, he's very well respected.
Yeah. So I think he's actually doing a service to the industry to call out these people, because these people that do this don't stop at just one.
No.
They're copying and pasting that email to 500 restaurants, and someone out there might go, oh yeah, okay, great, we need the exposure.
Yeah.
And then all it's doing is ended up costing them money. I think if you choose to take the path of as a business, if you choose to take the path of engaging an influencer, that's one thing. But when you have influencers coming to you because they've decided to go out and have dinner at your restaurant and then basically want it for free or won't come until they get it for free, it stinks. It's not right.
So how does anyone looking to see where John Lethlean is? Is it on Instagram?
Yeah, John Lethlean on Instagram, and just look for Couscous for comment. And then you'll see there's rafts of them.
Couscous for comment, spelled C-O-U-S?
C-O-U-S? Yeah, all one word. I mean, that's the hashtag he uses.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people commenting, but...
And John Lethlean's last name is spelled L-E-T-H-L-E-A-N.
Yeah. But like we're not spokespeople for him or anything like that. And like I said at the start, we haven't spoken to him about it, haven't contacted him, anything like that. But I wanted to bring this up because it's my industry, and I put myself in the position of if I was a restaurant owner and got that, would I do the same thing? Absolutely, 100%. Would I be going to John Lethlean and saying, "Hey, here you go. Here's some more content for your Couscous for comment. Let's call these people out," because it's disgraceful behaviour. And there's a lot of bad behaviour that goes on in the Preston car park, in the Preston Market car park. There's really
Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Hideous behaviour that goes on there. But I would look at this, and I think I take this personally. And I be it right or wrong,
Yep.
I think it's... If it does happen to people, especially people overseas, I'd be interested to know, and I'd be interested to know what's the really recourse like.
I'd
what does anyone do about it?
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to hear if it is the same around the eateries around the world.
Yeah.
And find out, because it is a big problem here.
Big problem. That's my rant for the day.
Wow.
I know we got off topic a bit. We usually talk about cooking and things like that. I will say, we did get the photos from the Boogu.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Well,
so Linda did post me the photos from the Boogu via WhatsApp on the weekend.
I won't share with you the
my emoji
response
was like the green vomit guy.
And I thought I was going to write back and say you should get that looked at, but I thought no.
But nonetheless, I did post the pictures on Instagram, so it's also on our Facebook page, so you can have a look. But I did use the hashtag cook what you love, and if that's something that makes you happy, then that's fine. I also just did say that it's not one for me.
Yes.
But that's fine. But it has to be said that you did some interesting side-by-side baking.
Yes, I made a double batch of Anzacs.
I know, we're still in the Anzacs. I don't know why we need to move on.
Because everyone just loves them.
Yeah.
And so I just did a big
double
batch.
Without a shadow of a doubt, Combi Steam wins the day. Every day of the week. You could see, and I have consumed almost what's left. You can taste the difference too. There is a distinct difference in texture. I mean, the ingredients are the same, but there is a distinct textural difference. Yeah.
And they were all spread out at the same time and went into the oven at the same time, 4 trays, 2 ovens.
But if you do like that sort of chewy scented, and it's not just the centre actually, the
whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing gets that really nice chewiness about it. So anyway.
And they darkened up a lot, but anyway.
I will forgive you for the Boogu because you produced some reasonably good Anzacs.
Well, Dougie had 2 bowls. It didn't last that long. He had 2 bowls each night. He loves it.
We did get some interesting feedback too from a few people on Instagram. We don't usually get that much buy-in.
Thank you, everybody who commented and who supported.
There wasn't many supporting comments.
They weren't... No,
a couple of people said it's one of those ones where that you need a blindfold or you close your eyes before you eat it.
No, I know
that.
Just say try
it. A very well-known chef in Australia, or in Melbourne in particular, did comment that his unfortunate go-to meal was a Weston's wagon wheel, which is like a cookie, jam, marshmallow, biscuit type thing.
Very favourite biscuit type thing.
In between 2 slices of crappy white bread with butter on it, which to me is just disgusting. Like I couldn't imagine anything worse. But nonetheless, as I said,
everyone has their
each
favourite
to their
something.
Own. It's their own.
And I am yet to see your easy, child easy
tiramisu.
Tiramisu.
No, we will do that. Yep.
I'm yet to see it, so I'm holding.
Yep.
I'm so far holding
Sorry,
the winner.
I've been a little bit busy.
I've been
I don't know
holding
what
the
you've
winner
been-
of the easy 4-ingredient dessert child
Yeah.
friendly dessert
Yeah.
award in the Cooking with
Do you know
Steve
what?
cabinet.
I'll do the tiramisu tomorrow afternoon. I won't film it or anything. We might take some stills.
Okay.
But I
See how you
won't.
go.
I won't make the
You have got a very
I
busy
won't
day
make the
tomorrow.
Saviati biscuits or anything like that. I'll just make a tiramisu, and you can take it home and give it to Doug, and you can decide.
Okay.
Actually,
Well,
let's
we can
let
share.
Doug decide.
Oh.
Bugu
okay.
or tiramisu.
Oh, yeah, he's a coffee fiend. Yes.
But anyway, I think that's all I've got for today. I've used up all my words. Couscous for comment. Send your stuff through to him. It's interesting.
And I'd love some feedback if anyone can be bothered on how much attention do you pay to reviews? If you see a new restaurant, because I know there was another writer, another food journo, wrote about another restaurant that I know or knew of, and in their review they used such big words. I had to actually get the dictionary out 4 times because I thought, what is that word? And it was so hard to read. It was quite scathing of the restaurant, even though the chef who owned it that night wasn't working in it.
Yeah.
The team was, and I thought, gee, that's not good either. That so I don't really pay a lot of attention to those reports. I tend to follow the reviews. I personally follow the reviews that maybe posted about, hey, great food, or maybe slow service or something like that. Just to sort of see what it's like when I go myself. Because if I want to go, I'll still go.
Yeah, you see, funny thing is that while I was working within the industry, we not lived and died by, the entries into the Age Good Food Guide and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's important, right? It was important. And funnier, the longer I cooked towards the end of working in restaurants, the less attention I paid to them. I thought, as long as I'm working hard, I'm producing the best that I can produce, and we have reasonably good service. The ambience is nice. I mean, a restaurant review is more than just the food, right? So I thought, as long as everyone is doing their job, then I think
front of house, wine,
there's so many
alcohols.
factors that are involved. I kind of went towards the end, and particularly now, I on purpose don't read restaurant reviews.
Well, I don't know who does, because there's no,
Well, how many forums is there? There's a million forums online. I mean, don't tell me that, like, someone says to you, hey, let's go to this restaurant. You Google it. Don't tell me you're not clicking on the reviews.
I'll have a look.
Yeah,
But I'm still going to go. Because,
yeah, exactly, right. So this is the thing.
Actually,
I
I
think
don't do it all the time.
I think just go.
Yeah, most of the time I just go.
Yeah.
It might be that I'm just looking for something else, or looking around.
See, because I can say
But
to you,
I
hey,
don't really mind.
go to this restaurant down here. It's fantastic, and you might turn around and say, "Oh, I just went there. It was rubbish."
Yeah, so that's
It
where you
doesn't
gotta
mean anything.
Go yourself.
Go yourself. Support your local
And
restaurant.
sometimes it's okay to have a bad night. Sometimes
Absolutely.
things don't go to plan, but it's not the end of the world. We give places that we really like 3 goes.
Yeah.
First time it's like, oh well, that's a shame. Second time, oh, maybe there's a bit of a trend.
Yeah.
If it's still bad, third time we go, we're like, okay, maybe we need to find somewhere else.
We'll find somewhere else.
Exactly. But we don't share that on social media, because it could be, it's just our personal opinion, and who gives really.
Well, you see, then this is the thing. These influencers believe that their personal opinion counts.
Yes, well, maybe the narcissistic sort of tendencies that they have at that time, but yes.
Correct. Anyway.
Well, thank you for that. That's not what I thought we'd be talking about, and I was a bit worried. But anyway.
You did have a worried look on your face, but
I just thought this could have
what
gone.
What are you going to do? Delete it?
No. But no, we're honest about what we post. I don't do any editing.
Yeah.
All the mistakes are in there, as we know.
Yeah.
But, well, thank you. And I will check out Couscous for comment.
Do.
And John Lethling. And good luck to him. Well done.
And good luck to everyone.
And for those happy cooking, or happy
Yeah.
not cooking and going out and trying something nearby, and support restaurants that are doing it a bit tough, cafes, bars, pubs, give them a go. Do the best that you can.
That's it.
Because everyone's doing it tough. Well, take care, everybody. Happy cooking, and until next time.
See you later. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this podcast as we explore home cooking in a modern world. We'd love you to subscribe, and for more information, please go to our website, cookingwithsteam.com.